Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NRW. We are going to be doing me, myself, and I. So I know how to do this. I'm Heather Hurt, and that's Kuya P. We're going to do a review about a movie that is coming out, that is out right now in theaters. Riff Raff. Let's start with the trailer, and then we'll get right into the review. Let's do it.
Let's go.
No Slim Jims. Past 2 hours, you've been passing gas like a very sick infant. I gotta breathe all day.
I'm sorry, Lefty. I had a lot of coffee, okay? Sorry.
And then you use my name? Jesus Christ, Lonnie.
You just said my name.
You catch our names by any chance?
Yep, he called you Lefty and you called him Lonnie.
Well, I overreacted.
Okay.
They're a great moment.
Son, we gotta talk about Lefty.
What did you do?
You killed his son.
You're gonna kill us.
What are you doing?
I get horny when I'm scared.
I'm married.
Who cares? It's just us and the shitty wildlife, you know?
This is our son.
We're too young to be grandparents. All because your son couldn't pull out in time. We've got house guests.
I would categorize these as a must kill.
I mean, what are we?
Family. Oh, my God. Can I get you anything? I'd sell my left tit for an Advil and a cup of coffee.
You said what?
Who was first?
There was this food incident, Rocco, with pubes in my wonton soup. If it's okay, I would just really like to torture him a little bit, if it's okay.
Shouldn't have done that, Rocco. Yeah, knock yourself out.
Oh, my God. Are we all gonna die?
You don't have all night?
Wait for me before you two start hitting each other.
You know, once you start killing, it sort of becomes your de facto solution for every problem.
What?
Get off of me.
Gosh.
I'm not gonna.
Come on.
I'm not gonna, Ruth.
It's a shame. We're gonna put something that hard to waste. Huh?
Riff Raff. It's not what you think. I'm going to tell you that right now. I was lucky enough to speak to the director, Dito Montiel, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, as we always do, let's talk about a little bit about the plot. We're going to try and keep this as spoiler free as possible. It is out now, so please go see it. But we might get into a little bit of it as it is now out in theaters. It is directed by Dito Montiel. It's written by John Pollono. Oh, not an A. It stars Jennifer Coolidge, who is actually the main reason that this movie was even made, as Ruth, Ed Harris as Vincent, Bill Murray as Lefty, Pete Davidson as Lonnie, Lewis Pullman as Rocco, Gabrielle Union, the one, the only, the beautiful, Sandy, who plays Sandy, Miles J. Harvey as DJ, who was a surprising star in this, and then Emanuela Postacchini, who plays Marina. Those are the big names, but as we know, and as we say here, it takes a village to make a movie, even an indie film like this. And yes, even with and especially with big names like this, we all know Bill Murray is a
Legend.
He's a lot to handle. We know his
Legends are hard to
reality.
handle. It's hard to handle some legends out here.
Sure. You can still be a great star and a good guy. You can still be a great star and a good guy. But anyway,
Yes.
I'm also making assumptions and accusations that I don't actually know him, and so that's just mean. But I'm just joking about his reputation. With that being said, what happens in Riff Raff is it is mostly a family movie, and that even though it looks like an action-packed film by the trailer, it is actually mostly a family movie. It is about Ed Harris and his two sons. DJ and Rocco. DJ is a young man about to go off to college, and Rocco is a I don't know if I call him a gangster, but as a gangster who got his girlfriend pregnant, and they are on the run after a supposedly deadly incident in a restaurant. That is when this fine young gentleman and his young not patriarch. That's the whole reason that this guy gets killed. But and his young counterpart go after the family, and they plan on retribution. And That's like the entire plot. It all happens in this small cabin in the woods. And it's funny, it's silly, it's goofy, it's an hour and a half film that will get you through the afternoon if you need to. And that's not the review. It's just it's nice and simple. It's the great thing about this movie. It's a very simple film, and it's done very intentionally. With that being said, QP, first thoughts of this film?
Well, when we saw the trailer, I was like, okay, cool. A great cast, all-star cast, as you said. Intriguing. Where is this going to go? It's a weird combination, and it proved to be an even odder combination once I finally saw it. And yeah, I was hype about the film. I was really hype about the film. And yeah, but I guess when we get into the review part. Yeah.
Sure. My first thoughts were about the same. I did one of the things I actually asked Dito was Dito. Dito. Sorry, I'm not pronunciating like I'm supposed to.
So
Don't
it's
tell my
Ditto
theater teacher
or
to.
Dito? Ditto or Dito?
Ditto.
Ditto. Okay.
Yeah. Like not Ditto, not the Pokemon. Ditto.
Yeah, that's what's like. Hold on. Ditto.
Yeah. So anyway,
Veto, but with a D. Veto, but with a D.
Yes,
Ditto.
exactly. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. With that being said, one of the things I asked him, this is technically an indie film. This feels like an indie film, even from the trailer. It feels like an indie film. How did you get such big names? And he made a comment that it was all Jennifer Coolidge. He was actually this is a shout out to Kuya P, since I'm sure he has not watched the interview yet. He actually said that this movie was because of White Lotus. His wife made him watch that film, or made him watch the TV show. He fell in love with Jennifer Coolidge at that very moment, and that's how this movie came to be. He's like, this is an indie film. I would not have gotten the names if I didn't start out with having Jennifer Coolidge already on the roster. And it's like, fair.
Jennifer Coolidge is a national treasure. She is a national treasure.
I would give both of my tits to be with her for a day. Anyway. With that was kind of, I was just kind of surprised. What type of movie would this be, especially with the type of cast? It looked so indie. Not saying that it's not great, because we are seeing more and more stars go back to their roots, go back to their indie roots, go back to the horror, and we love that here. It's been some of the best movies we've seen in years, quite honestly. With that being said, let's get straight into the actual review, where we talk about the people, we talk about the choreography, we talk about all the things. Kuya P, you saw this film. What are your thoughts?
It was odd. I didn't know if I loved it or hated it. I definitely didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was in the weird in between. I enjoyed it. There's a bunch of in between things that I really enjoyed. My favorite sequence is when, slight spoilers, I'm not going to fully spoil, but we know that there's gangsters. We have first off, the Bill Murray and Pete Davidson as a pair, an odd pairing for sure, but they worked. It actually worked. You have like basically the elder statesman and the younger guy in the business. So they're feeding off of each other, and they had some interesting chemistry. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but it was cool. Just like we saw from this trailer, the Lonnie, you said my name type shit, and you could tell like how one guy's like, be careful, because he knows old dude Bill will give you the gat. He will shoot you. So it's kind of like how he still has some compassion. So there's some interesting character balances and differences there, but it works and it's hilarious. But there's a particular scene where we all have that noisy neighbor or just overbearing neighbor that they deal with to get information. And the neighbors weren't in this, and they're also actors that we know from other stuff, character actors. When I saw that they were in this, because I know them from other stuff, I was like, oh, I love these people. There's those great character actors you love, and then they didn't disappoint, and then it went, and then it kept on going, and I was curious where it was going to go, and then it really went, and you see a little snippet in the trailer, but I'm not spoiling because you don't really know what's happening if you haven't seen it. It was hilarious. My favorite scene, I don't know if it was yours, Heather. I'd love to know yours, but there's that moment. There is that scene that is in the trailer with Jennifer Coolidge and Ed Harris when they're in the woods. That is why Jennifer Coolidge is a gem, why she is a national treasure. She will give you that just amazingness, and it just feels so real that you quite think that's probably just her personality. That I don't know. But with all that said, this is about somebody escaping from that past life, trying to live his new life. Old son. I think there's a very, being that, I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life and about communication within family that I think it touches upon. It gets super dark. I think the comedy and the darkness weren't in equal balance, which made it just kind of wild for me. You know, so that's what made it weird. But I did enjoy the different moments. But it was like an upswing. It was like a carnival ride. I was up and down, not sure where I was gonna go, and it didn't seem fully balanced. I did enjoy it all the way to the end and the final conclusion, but it was just up and down for me. Some great moments, but just also weird moments that I think a better writer could have really fully fleshed it together. But overall, a cool experience. Actors that we know and love doing an indie, like you said, Heather, and some cool moments. But I don't know. It was up and down for me. Was it the same for you? And I'm very curious because I know I was pumping it up a little bit, but I don't think I pumped it up too much for you.
No, I don't think you did. I don't know what I was exactly expecting with this movie. And with that being said, I am when we were done with this, my husband and I were watching this together, and his I asked him, it was like, or he asked me, he's like, what did you think? And I was like, I don't know. And I said, what did you think? And he's like, I don't know. Because in all reality, the movie was, it's, as you said, it's incredibly unbalanced. There were some really, really great moments, but as we know, and we've said this before, great writing can pick up bad acting, but bad acting or good acting cannot bring up mediocre writing. It's just like the movie had no idea what it wanted to be truly. Did it want to be a gangster film? Did it want to be a romantic comedy? Did it want to be a dark comedy? Did it want to be a family story? Because in all reality, this is a story about a family who had an awkward situation that's causing a problem. And I think I would have liked this movie a lot more if they had kept it to this is a problem. There are problems within the family, and they need to get that fixed. If they had just pointed it out there, they made it a dark holiday comedy that way. I think I really would have loved this movie. And I'm not saying it's not a bad movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just there are elements where it's like they almost shifted which direction they wanted to go. And a part of that might be, and I once again learning this in the interview, and it's great. It's the reason why we love having these interviews is we can talk and we can learn and we can get perspectives that we never thought we'd have in regular critiques. Is this movie was supposed to be a stage play, all taking place in the home. And if you when you watch this, what you're going to find is most of this film takes place at like where Hallmark would make one of their Christmas movies. Like it's a beautiful home.
Yeah.
Gabrielle Union's character Sandy is she's she's a nepo baby. She's done all these things. Her parents are wealthy, so she has these beautiful. We think it kind of just gives that suggestion. Not saying that she might have a phenomenal job, but we just know that she comes from a rich background. And with that being said, she has this beautiful home with beautiful stuff, and it's just beautiful. She's immaculate. She is immaculate. But but with that being said, she has what you see then is you see this dysfunction in a family, and then you also see this gangster story. They clashed. And it didn't work as well as I think it could have. And once again, this is also where we talk about an hour and 30 minutes is great, but it also might be too short for some things. If you need to add an extra 10 minutes to even out a story, please do it. You don't need to make a 2-hour film, but an hour and 40 minutes isn't going to hurt, especially if it'll even out some of that information. Or if you need to take out something that might be a little bit too heavy, that might be a little bit too unnecessary, do that to replace it with a better story arc. When it comes to who my favorites were, Miles J. Harvey, who plays DJ, just stole every goddamn scene that he was in. But there is a great scene in the kitchen with DJ and Marina that's just absolutely beautiful, and really defines what the actual story is about. It's a story about love. It's a story about family. It's a story about romance, and it's very, very, very sweet. There's actually two parts to it. One of them's in the kitchen, and another one is in a small little local market. Support local, by the way. It is, as of this recording, it is Blackout Friday. With that being said, it was a lot of fun. There were definitely really, really strong, great elements. It was an incredible cast. The scenery was beautiful. There were some really great elements to it. It just didn't work right. And that's okay. It feels like there's more to it, and there could have been more. That's what we're saying. Is we're not saying it's a bad movie. It just could have been more to even out the role. So with that said, those are our thoughts. Creepy, anything final?
Yeah, real quick. Glad you pointed out Miles J. Harvey, because at the offset of this film, it's like him. Slight spoilers, but it's him telling the story. It kind of as soon as I was in, it starts on which I didn't get from the trailer. This young man telling this, and it felt like they wanted to do that, but then they went away from it because of all the other things that they incorporated. And
Mhm.
but yes, there was those touches that I'm happy you brought up between him and his mom and all of that, how they're kind of the sane ones, and then they let this wild element in, but they still treat him normal and so forgiving. Because shit, I know if you and I had this wildness, I don't know if we'd be so forgiving, in a lot of ways. But amazing on them and just everything. But it just, again, like you said, totally felt disjointed, but they are kind of like the heart in there. But also, despite whatever your reality is, we can still come together. So there's good messaging in there, but just very disjointed, as you said. But like you, I don't hate it, but I didn't love it. Is it a cool watch and got nothing? Yeah. There's some great moments in it, and Jennifer Coolidge is a legend and hilarious, and yeah, and just some great pieces within it that I'll never forget. They're just hilarious scenes.
Mhm. Absolutely. So that's that. Just going to echo it. The movie was fun. Was it great? No. Was it bad? No. So with that being said, Riff Raff is now available right now in theaters. I believe it's coming out shortly on digital, like mini movies nowadays. They spend less than a month before they hit digital. So definitely, if this is not one that you think you should pay for, that's up to you. We won't tell you what to do, but definitely check it out on digital when it comes out. We are the NRW, and we will see y'all soon.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world.
Thank you. I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, nerds rule the world. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like nerds rule the world. Like I want more black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Nerds rule. Love
it. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian.
Yes, nerds. Yes.
Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies.
So much.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
absolutely.
It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.